Welcome in Dark Core. Planet Earth has existed for around 4.5 billion years, much longer than humans have been around, and it's not always looked the way it does now. The Earth is dynamic, constantly changing, and its land masses have been shifting and colliding over millions of years, leaving us with the 7 continents we see today. But scientists have recently seen some alarming things and have become concerned that huge catastrophes are coming. In fact, there have been major volcanic eruptions, huge cracks opening in the Earth's crust overnight before our very eyes, and even the formation of a new ocean is happening right this moment. Throughout time, the continents have been smashed together and pulled apart more than once, like something exploding and imploding over time. It might seem like things are calm depending on where you live, but the Earth is a geologically violent planet. If you have any doubts about it, then you need to look no further than places like Yellowstone National Park in the USA. Covered by beautiful forests and natural geological formations lies a massive supervolcano just waiting to wake up. Yellowstone supervolcano crater is so big that you could fit Tokyo, the world's largest city, inside it. If it erupted, it would spew hot volcanic ash for miles across the USA, damaging everything in its path, wiping out crops, and shutting down power plants. There would be mass chaos unlike anything we've witnessed, with damages in the billions of dollars, and it's likely the country would never recover. In Hawaii, we have recently witnessed the incredible destruction of an erupting volcano. When Kilauea began erupting on April 30th, 2018, cracks in the earth started to form before the eruption. Lava from a point on the volcano known as Fissure 8 erupted on May 27th, spewing lava along the coast and destroying hundreds of homes. This eruption created a new peninsula, and the volcanic activity could go on for years. Massive earthquakes have also caused incredible devastation, such as a March 2011 earthquake in Japan off the Pacific coast of Tohoku, which registered a magnitude of 9.0 to 9.1 on the Richter scale. It triggered tsunami waves as high as 130 feet and flooded the Fukushima nuclear power plant, causing a catastrophic disaster. These events have been going on since the beginning of time, but the question is, will things get worse? It's very possible, as nothing is set in stone when it comes to the formation of continents and the violent geological activity of Earth. The planet is geologically active because its internal heat keeps the outer core and lithosphere molten, which causes plate movement and volcanic activity. Think of these as huge slabs of rock, miles thick, surfing over the top of the superheated upper mantle inside the Earth. A solid core of iron spinning in a molten outer core causes a movement of magma, which in turn causes tectonic plates to move in all directions. But those tectonic plates didn't always exist either. It's believed that the Earth was once completely molten on the surface during a period called the Late Heavy Bombardment Era, where the planet was violently pummeled by leftover planet-building rocks, comets, and asteroids, lasting between 20 million to 200 million years. There are now 12 main plates on the Earth's surface, and plate boundaries are where 2 plates come together. There are 3 kinds of plate boundaries: convergent boundaries, where 2 plates collide to form mountains or subduction zone; divergent boundaries, where 2 plates move in opposite directions as in the mid-ocean ridge; and transform boundaries, where 2 plates slide past each other, such as the San Andreas Fault in California. We can only look so far back due to the constantly changing landscape, but one of the first supercontinents, called Nuna and Hudson Land, is thought to have existed approximately 2.5 to 1.5 billion years ago. This supercontinent consisted of protocratons that made up the cores of the continents. A craton, by the way, is a stable portion of the continental crust, separate from more geologically active regions. For example, one of these ancient cratons is the Piedmont of the Central Appalachians. The bedrock of the plateau formed about 470 million years ago when a volcanic island arc collided with a North American continent. The Himalayas were created about 55 million years ago when the continental plates of India and Asia clashed. The ancient Nuna supercontinent began to fragment, and widespread magmatic activity occurred. Over billions of years, the supercontinent broke apart. There is an area around Georgetown in northern Queensland, Australia, that consists of rocks originally part of Nuna 1.7 billion years ago. Geologists matching rocks from opposite sides of the globe found that this same part of Australia was once attached to North America. 100 million years later, this landmass collided with what is now northern Australia at the Mount Isa region. These colliding land masses created the supercontinent Rodinia, which existed between 1.1 billion and 750 million years ago before breaking up and reforming into Pangaea and Gondwana. This ancient continent is so old that it's incredibly hard to study, as the Earth is good at erasing much of its old geological history. It's thought that Gondwana became the largest piece of continental crust of the Paleozoic era, covering 39 million square miles, and eventually merged with Laurasia to form the largest supercontinent called Pangaea. Pangaea existed around 300 million years ago during the late Paleozoic and early Mesozoic periods. But during the Triassic period, some 250 million years ago, earthquakes began to rock the spot where New Jersey was once nestled against Morocco, and volcanoes spewed huge amounts of lava and gas. The region literally began tearing itself apart. Parts of the continental crust stretched, thinned, drooped, and formed valleys so deep that ocean water rushed in. This region continued to spread and became the Atlantic Ocean. One of the oldest geological places on Earth is the Great Rift Valley in East Africa. The valley is 3,500 miles long and slices through the land south from Ethiopia to Mozambique. It is 35 million years old and still growing. The area is said to be the cradle of humanity and sparked an explosion of life. The rift began deep below what is now Ethiopia, 2,000 miles beneath the surface, close to the molten outer core of the Earth. Extreme heat and pressure force a giant bubble of molten rock to the surface, swelling and pushing against the Earth's crust in an area 1,000 miles wide. This tore the land apart and left behind a volcanic wasteland in northeast Africa, overlapping Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Eritrea. This desolate region is called the Danakil Depression. The Earth's crust here has been so stretched and mangled by the rifting process that the whole landscape has sunk. There are places more than 500 feet below sea level, where cooling winds can't reach, making the Danakil Depression not only one of the oldest but also the hottest place on Earth's surface. The Earth is still evolving, and the same plates that have moved around since the beginning are still in motion, moving between 0.5 to 4 inches per year. That may not seem like much, but over billions of years, it adds up to vast distances. Recently, geophysicists have discovered something startling about tectonic plates. When under extreme stress, their movement can accelerate up to 20 times faster. On the other hand, we're lucky the continents don't move more than they do now. Imagine 4 inches per month. It's very likely that humans wouldn't be able to survive, as earthquakes would measure over 15 on the Richter scale, with massive volcanic eruptions and mile-high tsunamis wiping out everything. It's now known that the continent of Africa will split into 2 pieces. The smaller continent will include present-day Somalia, parts of Ethiopia, and Tanzania, while the larger will include everything else. In 2005, a 37-mile crack opened in Ethiopia, widening to 30 feet in some places over 10 days. Hot molten rock from deep inside is trickling to the surface, continuing to create the split. Underground eruptions will persist until, ultimately, the Horn of Africa falls away and a new ocean forms. Parts of the region are already below sea level, and the ocean is only blocked by a 65-foot strip of land in Eritrea. Eventually, the sea will flood in, creating the new ocean. As the land pulls apart and sinks, parts of southern Ethiopia and Somalia will drift away to form a new island, leaving Earth with a smaller Africa. This isn't the only time cracks have opened overnight. In March 2018, another massive crack opened in Kenya's Rift Valley. In places, the crack was 50 feet deep and 65 feet wide. Some scientists say the crack is thousands of years old and only recently reached the surface. It continues to grow as the Nubian and Somali tectonic plates under Africa shift and split. It's hard to predict what Earth will look like in 100 million years. Tectonic plates can unexpectedly alter course. Some researchers believe all continents will eventually reunite in 250 million years to form yet another supercontinent. Until then, about 50 million years from now, the Atlantic Ocean will be much larger and the Pacific Ocean much smaller. North and South America will move farther west, with California drifting north, unless the San Andreas Fault sends it into the ocean first. Western Africa will rotate clockwise and crash into Europe, creating towering mountain ranges. Eastern Africa will rotate eastward toward the Arabian Peninsula. Australia will move farther north into the tropics, while New Zealand shifts south of Australia. Of course, these are just predictions. As mentioned earlier, Plate movement is unpredictable. A major earthquake or volcanic eruption could shift the tectonic plate in any direction. One thing is certain. We are living in exciting times where we can experience the Earth moving beneath our feet and even witness the birth of oceans. So, what do you think Earth will look like in 50 to 100 million years? What new mountain ranges will rise, and where will new volcanoes erupt? Let us know in the comments what you think. We hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll know the moment we release a new one. Thanks for watching, Darko, and we'll see you next time.